Welcome to Critical Condition Sports. My name's Jose, and we're here to talk about sports here. Joining me by my side is Jonah Rawls from Behind the Grind. How you doing, Jonah?
I'm doing good, man. It's a great day to talk about tough.
Awesome, brother. Yeah. So, real quick, folks, before we get started into the video, I just want to go and apologize. Last week we were supposed to do a episode 2 review. Unfortunately, I was out of town. Jonah had some stuff going on as well, but we'll be back now giving you these weekly reviews over the Ultimate Fighter episode by episode. Before we get started and really give a deep dive into episode 3, we'll just give you some quick thoughts on episode 2. Real quick before we get started, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave it a like. It supports the video. How you doing, Jonah? So, what'd you think of episode 2 before we get onto episode 3? Real quick, any key points that you had?
The fight between Raposo and Ludwig was it was good. I was surprised that Ludwig was able to do that to him. It was also the first time, and it was only the second fight, the second
Yeah,
week, but first time that we saw 3 rounds, which was
yeah,
kind of cool. I liked how um, I like how the third round kind of feels.
of
It feels
course,
like there's a lot more on the line, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I was
definitely.
surprised. I was impressed with Ludwig for sure.
Oh, definitely. So going into this, Mid Proposo was a guy that Johnny Campbell was talking about to me, and the only thing he told me, he really liked Mitch, very well-rounded fighter. Is young, hungry, determined, and he was one of the favorites to win this whole thing. That's why he was picked number one. I wasn't surprised. The one thing, and I'm gonna just give props, and I even talked to Johnny after this. I told him, just the size is gonna be a big thing for him. Like the size, that's the thing that's gonna really catch Mitch. He's small for 135, and as I was watching this fight, watching the first round, it was a good fight. I
Mhm.
was telling myself, okay, and Mitch going into this had never lost a round in his
Really?
pro career. He had never lost a round.
I didn't know
And
that.
then yeah, seeing him go into round one, I'm like, oh, okay, well, clearly I can see why this kid's never lost a round in his professional
Mhm.
career. And then going on to the second, I'm like, okay, well, he looked a little bit tired, but I think Ludwig just exerted his dominance and his size on him, man. And that's, I think in that second round, I was telling myself, oh, okay, well, here's where the size thing really comes into effect here. And what he was telling me, that's the one thing he told me, like, it's concerning. And I think that played a huge role into this fight, man. Did you notice any of that stuff when Ludwig started really imposing his role as far as wrestling was concerned?
Yeah, it seemed kind of like Ludwig kind of obviously had the advantage there, of course, but like it seemed like he was really. It seemed like he was a veteran, like he was hardened, like he just early like let the first round kind of
Yeah.
feel out what he's doing, and then the second round he stepped on it and started executing. Exposing the holes that Raposo would leave open. But like you said, I was surprised because Raposo being the first pick, I expected. I haven't watched a ton of his or pro stuff or regional stuff, but like I was surprised because he was first pick, undefeated. Like really surprised that Ludwig was able to get to him like that.
Definitely. What'd you think of that third round though? Because there was a spot where, again, Ludwig was on him, right, imposing that will, and then Raposo almost had it, man. He
Mm-hmm.
he got took the
Mm-hmm.
back. I thought he was gonna submit him, but
Mm-hmm.
again, like what you said, Ludwig stayed calm, felt it out, wrote it out, and I think and we'll talk about this in episode 3, but he was just listening to everything Ortega was saying. Again, you had already called this out in our episode 1 review about Ortega's coaching and just the way he really felt the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And he listened to him, kept calm, got him off his back, and it grinded out the rest of the round and really got an upset. Again, like you said, number one
Yeah.
pick, undefeated fighter, Volk's number one overall pick,
Mm-hmm.
and a guy that many people again consider and a lot of journalists consider to be one of the top two guys to make it to the finals here. So it was interesting. Anything can happen in mixed martial arts. That's why we love the sport.
Right.
Doesn't matter
Right.
what you are, whether you're ranked first or last. Look at Kelvin Gastelum,
Yeah.
and or look at Brandon Moreno, ranked
Yeah.
last. He just came off a world title win. So it doesn't truly matter. That's the good thing about the sport. Anything else that caught your eye in this episode?
Yeah, kind of going off like just real quick, like that end part where you're talking about Raposo took the back.
Yeah,
I was surprised. I mean, I guess I get it because the back is a good position to have, but like I always get surprised when guys like that obviously don't have the edge in the grappling exchanges, like they just decide to keep on engaging and grappling, even when they have a more dominant position. It's like okay, like you're still on the ground, like they still are better there. I I'm not gonna like I wasn't surprised that he stayed on his back and tried to go for it, but like once he got a little too high on his back and then Ludwig kind of started to like shoulder him off, and then he rolled over. I was just like, I, I think game plan wise, it'd be smarter to just kind of stand up, right? Just to get off him.
Oh, definitely. I agree with you, but I think, and you so you see, I'm not gonna say what's the word I'm looking for here. I am mixing myself up here when I say this. Where I agree with you. He's
Mm,
definitely Ludwig is is stronger on the ground, but at that point, I felt like I think he had a better chance
finishing
to try
it.
to catch a submission,
Yeah,
like than just to be able to catch sink in a chokehold, than for
yeah,
him to just stand with him and
yeah.
land
That's
a
true.
power punch on him.
Yeah.
Even though Ludwig is better on the
Mm,
ground, I felt like maybe he thought his odds would have been better to catch a submission
fair.
at that point. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you're able to sink in your arm, I mean, it's done. And if you're standing, what if he takes you down again?
Right.
What if he punches
Right.
you?
Yeah, that's fair.
That'd be the only time, though. I mean, because I do agree with you. I think that he should have just stood up. But
Mm,
I think with like how little time he had in the fight,
yeah.
I think, I mean, regardless, you're gonna lose the fight. I mean, what are the odds
Yeah.
of you getting a
Yeah.
submission, right? I
Right.
agree with you
Right.
there. It's a great point. I really not against that. It's just how
Yeah.
confident are you? I guess at
Yeah.
that point you make a judgment call like,
Yeah.
what's more like, can I submit this guy? Can I knock this guy out? Literally looks strong though, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
his
He did look
wrestling,
strong.
Jesus, man,
Looked very good. He was grinding on him, bro. Just grind on him
crazy.
and then got that W. It was nice. It was good to watch, honestly.
Yeah. Now I will say this, man, and again, here's where the critical part here comes from the show here. I don't like how Mitch took the defeat, man. I guess it was hard. It's hard, right? You lose, you gamble a lot, brother. But I really just don't like how when people say, "Oh, I lost that fight. He's not better
Mhm.
than me," and all these
Yeah.
things. Sure,
Mhm.
brother. Tell yourself what you need to.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, and I've always said this about people competing in anything, man. Like obviously you practice how you perform. That's a cliche, but I think that it doesn't matter if you beat them multiple times. The one time it mattered, the one time that you're on TV, you're doing this thing,
Yeah.
you lost. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
it. That's the bottom line. You lost. It doesn't matter if you could have beaten them 1,000 times before, 1,000 times after. The one time where it's game time, you came up short, and it happens, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And again, these guys are the ones going through the experience, but it's just like just take it on the chin, brother. Get better.
Right.
And obviously we saw again more things in episode 3 here. That's just my view, man. You agree, disagree with me, man? It's okay if
Yeah.
you agree or disagree with me on that
No,
one.
no, I do totally agree with you. When guys say sometimes there's some warrant when guys are like, "Oh, I lost." Like he didn't win, I
Yeah,
lost. Like
like an
I get
injury.
it. Of course, injury or weight
Yeah,
cut or whatever happens, like I get it. But when a guy beats you, a guy beats you. Like,
just straight up beat. Yeah,
he
he lost.
he beat you. It's not like you made like you had a terrible camp or anything, or it's just like it seemed like he was trying to find a built-in excuse. Like he was trying to find something to
Not
kind
like
of
there
be
was
like,
an eye poke or anything like that. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Or a
yeah,
hit or illegal blow or
yeah.
anything that cost you the
But
win.
yeah, no, no, I agree with you for sure.
Yeah, because I was watching an episode of The Ultimate Fighter. It was season 5, Wyman versus Manny Gamburian. I don't
Mhm.
know if you remember those, those earlier on seasons, but and man, I'm an MMA junkie in that sense where I'll just put on a regular a season episode and I'll just do work on the background. But it's funny. So I go back to that fight and I'm listening to this guy and Manville just dominated Matt Wyman. Matt Wyman was heavily favored, and he was saying he's not better. He dominated him. He lost. Matt Wyman lost. He said, "Who? He's not better than me. If I fought him 10 times, I'd beat him more times than he beat me." Well, bro, then come on,
Like,
man,
bro.
just take it on the chin. You lost.
Mhm.
It's hard and there's sacrifices and stuff like that. But I mean, like you lost, bro. Like there was somebody on that day better than you. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I
my
think
my
that's a
view
big
there.
thing that I agree. I think that's a big thing that kind of going into like the mind of a fighter. It's like are guys able to the guys that are able to take defeat good like are usually the guys that mentality are there. Like you're not gonna have to worry. Like with Ronda, I know this is a very very extreme example,
Yeah,
but when she lost, she didn't talk to media. She didn't do anything. Like she didn't. She was almost like denying that it even happened.
yeah,
But some guys will lose and they're just like, yeah, he was better that night. Like even Connor, he's like, yeah, he was better than me that night. Like we'll get him back. Like that's when you can kind of start to see the mentality of guys. And
yeah.
like those are the guys that are like 100% always going to be in the game no matter what. Like the mentality's there. So
Of
I
course,
agree
man. That's a
for
very
sure.
big aspect on that thing. So I mean that those are our thoughts on episode 2. Nothing really dramatic happened here as far as drama as they say here on the Ultimate Fighter. Let's go on to episode 3 though. So episode 3, so Ortega's team's up 2-0. and very surprised on the way they did the fight. I thought that since Ortega's team had won, they kept control. I guess they're alternating now this week.
Yeah.
So Team Volkanovski got the pick. They picked Ryder Neiman, which was his number one pick, against Trayshawn Gore, who's just someone that you've personally wanted to watch compete.
Yes.
And Trayshawn was Ortega's number two pick, number two middleweight pick.
Mm.
So it was going to be an interesting matchup here. We pick up though with Mitch Raposo again. What we talked about this whole the mentality thing again, being just a real salty guy when it comes to
Mhm.
this. Again, not a big fan of this. Clearly you could tell, brother, he was just salty and in denial and really just being a sore loser. It doesn't really matter if you're a sore loser, brother. I get it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, that thing where he's not better than me, I lost to myself, brother. He
Mhm.
lost. He took
Yeah.
it from you. He took
Yeah.
that fight from you.
Yeah.
What you think of anything going on in the house, man? Is there anything that really caught your eye?
Not real. I mean, not really yet, man. There's nothing really. No like real beef or anything. It is
You're good.
interesting. Like, Trayshawn. Like, well, I'm sure we'll get into it, but he's very like, and they went into this, but he's very open about everything.
Yeah,
Like
brother.
he immediately like told this dude his whole life story, and there might have been more behind the scenes. Like maybe they're good friends or something, but he told this guy his whole story, and then even the dude said it. I forget who it was. But he was like, yeah,
Miles
Trayshawn wears.
Hunsinger,
Yeah, Hunting. He was like, yeah, he wears his
heart on the sleeve.
yeah, hard on the sleeve.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I love Trayshawn, bro. I love that man. Can't wait for more.
Yeah. And I will tell the audience this. When it comes to drama, I know, like, if you watch the show and you're watching it for like drama and stuff, like my girlfriend watches this thing for drama, bro. Straight up, man. It's like it's unreal, man. She'll go look at Tuf's most dramatic moments, and she'll see the rampage punching through the door, the kind of thing,
Yeah.
But so I mean, I know there's audiences that are just really want to watch it for that, and
Mhm.
they'll be like, oh, okay, well, the fight's interesting, right? But I guarantee people the drama's gonna pick up.
Yeah.
The drama's gonna pick up. The shenanigans are gonna pick up.
Yeah.
So if you're waiting for drama for this thing, I mean, trust me, folks, just stick with it. It will heat up. There'll be issues. We've seen it in trailers already. I mean, there's gonna be issues, and I'm not gonna spoil anything for people, but I mean, because there's some of us that dig really deep into the trailers and stuff can tell you different things. But so I'm not gonna spoil it, but I promise you it's gonna pick up. This is what's the third episode. There's still 9 more left. So I promise you in that department it'll pick up. You have to understand that these people are secluded, and obviously, like, from what I feel is like these first 3 episodes were done within like the first week of the
Mhm.
competition. They're not fighting like once a week. These guys, like, the fights are happening every 3, 4, 6 days,
Right.
depending on the time frame. So I just want to remind everybody about that. Trayshawn's pretty cool though. I liked how he is talking about his story. I think ever since you pointed him out, I think he was just been an interesting character for me. What do
Mhm.
you think of his upbringing though? The coming, the story with the wife and everything.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. When he was like, I was begging my wife or girlfriend at the time, I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
to leave me. I was like, dang, that's like crazy, dude. And he was like living in a car, even though he said it was just 4 days, but like in the cold with like no with the window like open or
Open.
whatever. Like that was crazy. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, what do you think of the prep for Ryder Newman though?
The what?
The preparation for Ryder Newman.
Oh, it was good, man.
24/7.
Like he was trying to get that information out of was it Mitch? Or no, not Mitch. It was Hunsinger. Was it Hunsinger?
No, so Trayshawn Gore was trying to get the information of
From
Miles Hunsinger, because Miles Hunsinger
Hunsinger, right?
and Ryder
Team,
Newman train in Vegas at Extreme
right,
Couture.
right. Yeah, yeah. So
Historic fight.
I thought that was funny. It was cool that Hunsinger didn't give anything. He was just in the interview. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not like that. Like I don't want to. It doesn't seem right to like give off information and stuff like that." But Trayshawn was trying to get it, man. He
I
was
give him
kind of
that,
like
bro. Yeah.
nudging him. He's like, "So this guy grappling strong, right?"
I
I thought
mean,
it was cool though.
I don't blame someone for asking a
For
question.
sure,
I
for
don't,
sure.
because again, it's like when people tell you to ask a question, we're adults, man. I mean, you ask a question, what's the worst thing you're gonna say? No. The
Yeah.
annoying part is if you keep going, you say no. All right,
Hmm.
cool, man. I respect it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
don't blame the guy for asking.
yeah.
Respect Hunsinger for doing that. But Ryder was expecting Miles to throw him under the bus, man. Jesus, bro.
Dude, there was a when they were doing the weigh-ins, like, because they when they met in the back or whatever, Trishan was like, "Yo, yeah, he didn't give me anything. Just figured I'd let you know. Like, he's not like a snake or anything like that." But then they were kind of cool, like back there and everything. But then when they weigh in, or when they weighed in, Trishan was kind of like jawing at him a little bit, and I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, bro.
So I was that got me excited for the fight, man.
Do you ever tell yourself this? So as this is progressing here with like the Trayshawn stuff,
Mhm.
and I was telling my girlfriend as I was watching this, I'm like, man, what is this guy? Like if I'm Ryder Newman, and dude, I give props to Ryder Newman. So nice, wasn't an asshole. Because
Yeah,
at some point I
definitely.
wanted to be like, dude, just be quiet
Yeah,
already, brother. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I get that these guys live with the people they're fighting, so it's a very unique and different experience. You can't describe it to
Mhm.
athlete to another athlete how it this feels. But and at some point I was like, if I was Ryder, I wanted to be like, dude, can you just like shut up? We're gonna fight
Yeah,
tomorrow. Like that's
definitely.
it. Like I felt like Trajan was just in his face, bro.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Was it just me?
No, definitely. Ryder
He
seems
just
like
kept talking and talking and
yeah,
talking.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
No,
bro,
Trayshawn, he kept on. It was annoying me too, and I love the guy. He
yeah,
was
it
like,
was annoying.
yeah, yeah. He kept on like just saying one thing, and then Ryder was just like brushing it off. He's like, "It's all good, bro. Like, it's like we'll fight. We're fighting on whatever. We're
Yeah,
fighting."
right. That's all right. I mean, I give that guy props.
Yeah,
Kept his
definitely.
cool, man.
Yeah, yeah. He wore it like he definitely just brushed it off. But yeah, man, there was sometimes with Trayshawn, I was like, okay, like you said your piece. Like, there's not more to say, bro.
Yeah,
But
man.
that's him, I guess. You know.
And I think these guys just I think out of respect, and I think he just didn't again like Ryder didn't want any kind of like beef. I guess that's what it seemed like. He just wants to do the thing and that's it, brother. But you could
Right.
tell like he was just like, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. He kept repeating himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I give him props for that. I give him. I mean, because
Yeah.
dude, I wanted to be like, dude, can you just like, come
He's
on,
like,
man,
I'm
be quiet. Like we're
crazy.
gonna fight tomorrow, bro. I
Yeah.
get it, and not even that, but I mean, just be like, all right, cool. Like, look, man, I don't want to come off as a jerk, but I just want to like,
Yeah. It's like,
think
all right,
mentally. That's
bro.
it, bro. We're
Yeah.
done. We'll fight. We wait in. We'll fight. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
we're
let you
fighting
say your
tomorrow.
piece.
Like, just save it for then, bro. Like,
Yeah, dude. Oh
yeah.
my goodness, brother.
Yeah.
It was intense. Now I will tell you this though, going into this fight. So as far as my tough picks, I will say, and I'll admit it to the audience, I'm 1-2 right now, man. I thought Ryder was gonna win this fight. I thought
Oh,
Mitch was gonna win last week. Thought Ryder was gonna win this week. And spoiler alert for everybody here, though. I mean, so obviously Ryder went up, fought against Trayshawn. Round one, interesting feeling out process. I think the big thing that stood out for me was the leg kicks that Trayshawn was doing. It when he was doing that, he was checking them, keeping them at bay, and Ryder wasn't really advancing, moving forward, and really wasn't using that wrestling background that they had really highlighted on the show. What do you think of round one?
yeah, like you said, the kicks, man. And they said it afterwards too. Ortega was like, he kicks like a mule. Like them things, bro. Those legs, he was swinging with bad intentions. He landed a couple, and I was like, woo, like he's not gonna
Did
be
you hear
able
the
to stand.
pop
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
TV, on camera?
It was like, dude, I was surprised honestly that he Newman didn't even really obviously they were like affecting him and you could see that his legs were getting chewed up, but like it didn't really like hinder well, I mean maybe it did actually. That's a good point now that I think about it, because he did seem like Volk was saying after, he seemed hesitant.
Yeah,
After like after the first couple minutes, he did let the hands fly in the second, but like um yeah, maybe the legs just affected him. But I was really impressed with Trayshawn because going in, I thought he was just gonna like he was more of like a brawler, kind of just like get in your
yeah,
face and like throw some big ones. But he the kicks, man, I was so surprised at how strong they were.
yeah, and he kept them at bay. I
Mm-hmm.
think later afterwards, Ryder saying that he is overestimating him. He was thinking he was too good.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I mean, you can't make that mistake. And I give the guy that, man. He didn't go say, "Oh, I'm better than him," like
Mm-hmm.
Mitch did. He said, "You know what? I messed up. I
Yeah.
thought he was better. I respected the game more, and it cost him." And
Right.
whether that was the case or not, I respect the guy for it. I respect every guy that goes in there and obviously competes like that, man, and is able to take the L like that. But he seemed hesitant. I was very surprised he didn't try to shoot more. But again, I
Yeah.
think those leg kicks were really what was checking him and keeping him at bay, man. It was,
Mm-hmm.
whoo, man. You could see the
Yeah.
redness.
Yeah, they were chewing him up, and I was interested
Yeah.
because Trishawn said he was gonna shoot first, and like
Oh yeah.
coming up to the fight, and then he did, he did shoot first, he shot first, um, but yeah, I was surprised he didn't. Ryder didn't honestly like immediately just shoot for it, or like at least a couple times in the first. Like there was only one, right? It seemed
Yeah.
like only one time he really, and it was at the end, like at the
Yeah.
very end of round one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it was a leg kick or something, or
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm surprised at the game plan that he didn't try to grapple him more for sure.
What'd you think of round two?
Round two was good, man. They started throwing more
Yeah.
early, but again with the leg kicks, man, I think maybe they had something to do with the shooting and all that. But again, just surprised at the game plan, like grappling, that Ryder didn't push more, be more offensive with it.
You know, I always cringe, man, whenever I see ever since like the whole Wiedemann thing. I always cringe when these guys kick, man, or kicking so hard, man. It's a scary thought, you know. Like I was
Yeah.
cringing. I was like, oh my goodness, I hope this guy doesn't like,
Every
both of
dude,
these guys, you know.
every time now. I was watching the card this past weekend. I
Yeah,
forget who it was, but someone was throwing leg kicks. And I was like, oh, like,
yeah.
dude, like every time, because it's so random. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. It's not like based on conditioning your shins or anything. It's just like if it lands in the weird place at a weird angle and it's checked properly, like it could just go, and it's like crazy, dude.
It's scary, man. Now,
Yeah.
Ryder was, I think, as Ryder was trying to get into Trayshawn's pocket, though, I think
Mhm.
Trayshawn started landing more,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
most effective shots I think were coming from Trayshawn's side. And the thing is, though, every time he stopped doing those leg kicks, you'd hear the coach scream at him like, "Yo, like keep doing the leg kicks," and he
Yeah.
would. And I felt like there was a point where Ryder started kind of getting his rhythm because
Hmm.
he kept moving and he kept getting out of the way of that leg kick. But I think it was a little bit too late. I think he tried to shoot for takedowns. Trey Sean, though, man, that takedown defense was top
Look
notch,
good.
man. And it wasn't against, he was going against some scrub. I mean, he's going through a guy that was a two-time state wrestling champion, and
Yeah.
he was able to withstand that. Any kind of takedown attempt, he was able to stuff it, man, and get away from it and avoid it. So that was very impressive with Trey Sean, though.
Definitely.
Overall, good fight for him, you know?
Definitely. He looks strong too. Especially guys that like um he's a striker, and obviously he has grappling, and like they showed his jiu-jitsu and everything's fine, but and he initiated some of the first grappling exchanges, but um it is good to see that these strikers, the guys that are pride themselves on their stand up early, sometimes we see guys that'll they'll get in the UFC and they're strikers, they'll get like two first round finishes in under a minute or something like that, and
Yeah.
or they'll fight guys that aren't grapplers, but then like they get really high up and we think super highly of them, and then they just get destroyed after like 5 minutes of grappling, so it's good to see that early on. The first fight that we see from this kid is like, okay, he can obviously defend and be offensive in his grappling, so it was totally good to see that for sure.
Definitely, he can defend, strong,
Hmm.
big.
Hmm.
He's got the size, and he's got power, and he's really good on the
Hmm.
feet. So, I mean, he looks really good right now. Obviously, after the two rounds, I mean, that was enough for the judges. I think that was enough for us. I think at that point, I had it two rounds. Trey Sean,
Yeah.
you did you score it the same?
Yeah, me as well. It was close. It was kind of close, but I think the leg kicks kind of separated the pack.
Yeah, definitely. So Trey Sean is moving on. He's advancing on there. Third Ortega team member to
3-0.
move on. Ortega's 3-0 right now. And I'll point this out, man. The way you called this out and the way you got to feel for this yourself is, the coaching difference between Ortega and Volkanovski. You caught on to that very early. You called that out, and now looking at this now, you could tell like it is a huge thing
Yeah.
because these last two fights, I feel like they were won, and I think a big difference was the coaching because
Yeah.
all these guys have done every single thing Brian has been able to
Mhm.
do. And not
Yeah.
only can he coach, not only is he fantastic, right? He's a great fighter, a great
Right.
grappler, and everything. And not only can he coach, but he can clearly communicate well
Yeah.
with these guys. Because a lot of these guys, we see them and they don't follow their corner's instructions. These guys are doing
Right.
everything Ortega
Right.
is doing them. Is telling them.
Mhm.
So, and that's an accomplishment in its own, man.
Yeah, yeah. Even with Ludwig fight,
Yeah.
he obviously is Armenian, Ukraine, so the English just kind of broke in a little bit. But he Ortega was in the corner, like giving him like hand movements and stuff, and like explaining, like making sure that he understood like what he wanted him to do in like the next round, and it's just great. Yeah, like you said, I don't want to say I'm Mystic Mac or anything,
Yeah.
but uh, uh, yeah, Ortega does seem more like he's more more fine tuning,
Yeah.
more tweaking, and game plan execution is more there. Volkanovski seems more like a friendly guy, like he's probably a great pal to have around, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's really like coaching his guys as far as game plan goes. He might be showing them stuff in the gym and giving them some general outlook stuff, but like game plan wise for a specific fight, it seems like the Ortega guys are a little bit more prepped, I guess, in
Yeah.
advance for the fight.
He's a coach, man. I think Ortega's in coach. He's in coaching mode. I think Volkanovski
Hmm.
is a fighter that's trying to get into coaching mode. Ortega, like you said, man, even in episode 2, you were saying that he's taught blind people, he's taught deaf people,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, he's taught people that just couldn't speak, and he's been able to teach them. So, I
yeah.
mean, if you're doing that, I don't know how true that is, man, but I
Mm.
don't, I definitely don't doubt him.
Yeah,
You could clearly tell, like, just the way he's giving instruction, he is a legitimate coach, you know,
for sure.
and they're doing everything he's saying, man. So,
Yeah.
I mean, wow, it's a crazy next week's matchup. We have it now. It's Vince Murdoch versus Dustin Lampros. Murdoch is again, just going off journalists, folks. Here I'm going off journalists. He is one of the top guys there. Definitely, I had to put him there top three next to Argueta and next to Raposo. You know, we haven't seen Argueta fight, you know, good old Dan.
Yeah.
But we've already seen Mitch fight, and that was a letdown. Murdoch, not gonna give too much away there, but this is a really highly touted athlete going into this. Oh, these guys were, but Murdoch had definitely had already had a bigger following before the show as well.
Yeah. Where does Murdoch fight at? Do you know where he fights out of?
I do not. That I do not know.
Okay. I was just wondering. Yeah, man, I can't wait for that one. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, and so it's gonna be a very interesting one. Both these guys, you know, Dustin obviously isn't a joke either. He's there for a reason. Dustin, I believe, is undefeated. Is undefeated on there. Don't quote me on that one, but
Yeah.
yeah, I know you usually make it seem like I have all this information on all these people, but nah, not on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Not on that one. So it's gonna be should be a banger of a matchup. Can't wait for that, man. It's
Absolutely.
a bantamweight fight. You know, 135ers. It's gonna be very interesting. We'll see who the next person is. Biggest question is, can Team Volkanovski finally rally and get their first win? You know, I'm indifferent on that, man. I always think that the Ultimate Fighter is a very good show. If the teams are going even, like trading back wins, it's obviously more interesting for the TV wise.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like Ortega's team though, man. I want them to keep going.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
see.
man. They're all solid. You said it in the first one too. You were like in the past it's like some guys it's like it'll be super lopsided. You
Yeah.
know, it'll be like 3 wins to every guy's one. But
Yeah.
like I hope that it picks up. Like you said, I hope that it kind of balances out. Just because it makes it more competitive, more fun to watch. You know, it's just like you don't want to see every week. I mean, there's no way that Ortega gets all of them, right? But
I mean, I would hope not, brother. I would hope not. There's some matchups that man, you see, like, I mean, we're gonna get into this now. I'll tell you, like, you know, some I like Brian Battle. There's question marks on there. I think all these guys
Mhm,
are fantastic.
mhm,
Miles Huntsinger is no Gilbert Urbina's over there on Volkanovski's team. They're two
mhm.
really tough guys yet that could definitely win. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely win their matchups. You know, like their styles. Ricky from Houston, Texas,
Mhm.
Torsios, whatever. I actually met somebody that trains with him
Oh, really?
while I was in Tennessee last week. Man, very interesting.
Nice.
He can put up a fight. You know,
Yeah.
obviously he's very talented. He's a great grappler. And then this fight between Dustin Lampros and Vince Murdoch, we'll see where it goes. Again, Dustin's a real tough guy. Murdoch definitely is a more touted one and is good.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be a very banger of a matchup. Both these guys like to stand from what I heard.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting, man.
I hope we see a good one, man, because the fights haven't really been like there hasn't been any like noteworthy moments, really. I don't think. I mean, they've been
Yeah.
solid fights, and they've been good to watch to see like how the guys fight and the like Ludwig with his grappling. You know, we're able to see that like he's legit, and Trishan with the defense and stuff like that. But we haven't really seen any moments where it's like, oh, like,
Like, oh
and,
crap,
yeah,
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 like a
like
fight, like a finish of the season
yeah,
kind of
like a
thing. Yeah.
finish or even just a fun fight where there's exchanges. Like, I don't know. I wonder if that has to do with like the shorter prep time and stuff like that.
We'll see, man. I mean, I think they'll turn it up, man. I think that
Yeah.
like right now, I think those are best for the semifinals right now, and obviously a couple in the quarterfinals right now.
Right.
I think that it tells you more about the people moving on than it does in the people that lose. Unfortunately, I think that all these guys that move on, it's I'm not gonna say weeding off weak,
Mhm.
definitely not, because again, like
Yeah.
Raposo and Ryder Newman are anything but that. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it just shows you like the gap though and how talented these guys are. Like Ludwig's wrestling, man. Jesus, who's gonna be able to stop that? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
Definitely.
in a 2 round fight.
Yeah. 2 rounds is not a lot of time.
You know, it's crazy, and like I think it's the time for the people that are very just strong and like specialists in one field,
Mhm.
one area that can
Mhm.
get you far, like football. In
Yeah.
football, just because is Lamar Jackson and like he's a quarterback for the Ravens, is he
Mhm.
the most talented quarterback out there? Is he better than? No, he's in the top 10. Is he better than a lot of these quarterbacks? No, but he's got that one ability which is his speed and the way he scrambles and speed
Mhm.
that separates him from so much competition and that's good to carry them. Same thing.
Right.
I mean, these guys have some skills that is just so good, man, that it's on a top level that can just separate yourself from a regular, well-rounded fighter.
Right.
That's the thing right now. So I think it'll tell you things you need to know about the people moving on. It'll tell you things about
Definitely.
people eliminated, and you'll be able to really make an assessment about to how far you really need to go to get on to the next level.
Right.
I think we're in for a couple good ones, man. I think we're in for a couple of good banger matchups, man. I think it should pick up, man. It should.
I can't wait, dude. Yeah, I think that they've kind of been slowly kind of easing into it, and then hope now we get some scraps, man.
Definitely. Very excited. This could be the one. Murdoch versus Lampros will be coming next week on Tuesday. It'll be 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You're where Jonah's at. Anything you want to add real quick before we sign off, Jonah?
Trishawn Gore, baby. That's the
There,
man. That's my pick. That's my pick.
there we go, folks. And keep a lookout for Tanner Guetta, man. He's the absolute best.
And Argueta too.
That's what I'm going for, man. So we'll
All right.
see. As far as everyone else listening to this video, thank you so much for stopping by, chatting it up with us. Comment in the comment section down below who you think should be the favorite to win the Ultimate Fighter, or what you thought of this past week's episode. If you agree or disagree with us, let us know. Thanks for joining us. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.